Hello guys, welcome to Edufy. Today we are here in the next part of our series, that is learning history through MCQ, and this is part 15. Herein we will cover the certain administrative aspect of the Mughal Empire as well as some of the questions from Delhi Sultanate administration also. So let us see what all we will see. Coming to the first question, consider the following regarding the Zat and the Savar system. The Zat, now you will see that Zat and Savar system introduced in the Mughal times, in the Delhi Sultanate times actually. And herein we will see the statements. First statement is Zat rank fixed the personal pay of the Mansabdar. Sawar indicated the number of cavalry to be maintained. Du a Sipah. A Spah system was introduced by Akbar. Higher Sawar rank than Zat was a common trend. So here your first and the second statement are correct. That is, both Du is Sapa was introduced. You have to remember it was introduced by Jahangir, not Akbar, and higher Sawar rank than Zat was not a common phenomenon, but yes, it was possibly there. So 1 and 2 indicates the right statement. So answer will be A. Coming to the again same topic, do a spa, see a spa system, consider the following statement. So what is this system all about? A, it allowed Mansabdar to double the number of cavalry. B, second statement, it was introduced during Jahangir's reign. Yes, this is right. It aimed at strengthening the Mughal cavalry without increasing the salary burden. Right, this is also right. So here answer will be 1, 2 and 3, not 1. It doesn't allow the Mansabdar to increase or double the number of cavalry. Next statement, next question. Consider the following statements regarding NA Dehsala system. So, what is this Dehsala system? Tell me who are the inventors of this Dehsala system. First, it was a revenue assessment system under Akbar, right? It was based on the average prices of crops over the 10 years. This is also right. It applied uniformly across the Mughal Empire. That is incorrect. And it was improvement over Batai system that was prevalent in the land revenue management. Yes, that is also correct. So answer will be 1, 2 and 4. That is A. Coming to the next question with reference to Mughal judicial administration. Consider the following statement. First, emperor was the highest court of appeal, right? Qazis administer civil and criminal justice. This is also correct. Diwan supervised judicial administration. No, Diwan was a revenue side of personnel. So not judicial administration. Sadar or Sudur appointed Qazis. So this is also correct. Answer will be 1, 2 and 4 only. That is A. Coming to the next question. Consider the following statement regarding Mughal coinage. So Mughal gold coin was called Mughal. Silver Rupaya was introduced by Sher Shah Suri and continued by Mughals. Copper dam was mainly used for international trade. Mughal coins carried the name of caliphs. So here your correct answer is 1 and 2. That is, here copper dam and Mughal coins with respect to the caliphate name is incorrect. Okay, so 3 and 4 are incorrect. First and second are correct. So answer will be A. Coming to the next question. Question number 6. Consider the following about Humayun's tomb. So it was first garden tomb in India. It was inspired by Persian architecture. It was built by Humayun itself. It uses red sandstone extensively. So here, see, it was not built by Humayun itself. So 3 statement goes. So answer will be either 1 to 4 or 2 4. So your answer is 1 to 4 because it is also considered Humayun. Who was Humayun? The father of Akbar. It was considered as the first garden tomb of India. So this is right. Question number 7 with respect to Idmat ud-Daula's tomb. So it was built by Noor Jahan. Yes, it marks the transition from who was Noor Jahan? Write in your comment section. It marks the transition from red sandstone to white marble. Yes, this is also correct. It extensively used Pitra Dura technique. This is also correct. What is Pitra Dura technique? Kindly mention in the comments. It was built during Shah Jahan's reign. No, this is incorrect. So answer here will be A, 1, 2 and 3 only. Next question with reference to Buland Darwaza. So consider the following statement. One of the significant architectural feature of the Mughal administration. So it was built to commemorate Akbar's victory over Gujarat, right? This is correct. It forms part of Fatehpur Sikri complex. That we have to see what all comes under Fatehpur Sikri. You mention in the comment section. It is made entirely of white marble. No. It displays Persian inscription. Yes, it do. So answer here will be 1, 2 and 4. So it is part of Fatehpur Sikri complex. What other buildings are part of Fatehpur Sikri complex? That you have to write in the comment section. So this is answer will be 1, 2 and 4, that is B. Coming to the next question, with regard to Jama Masjid in Delhi, that is present in Delhi. Okay, so it was built during Shah Jahan's reign. It used both red sandstone and the white marble. It is the largest mosque built by Mughals. It was built at Fatehpur Sikri. So here the right statements are 1, 2 and 3. It is not at Fatehpur Sikri. Fatehpur Sikri is very near to Agra and Mathura region. So their complex is different. However, you will find that this Jama Masjid is bit far away from the Fatehpur Sikri complex. However, it is one of the largest mosques built by the Mughals. So remember this. Who built it? Shah Jahan, and it is having both red sandstone and white marble. Now coming to the next question, consider the following about the Mughal architectural style. What do Mughal used in their architecture? Use of symmetry and proportional geometry, right? Incorporation of chhatri and jalis, jharokas, right? Absence of Islamic calligraphy? No, there was Islamic calligraphy. Combination of Persian, Timurid and Indian elements. Yes, that is also prevalent. So answer will be 1, 2 and 4 only. Now coming to the next question with respect to the architecture of Agra Fort, we will see the statements. It was originally built by Akbar. Shah Jahan converted many structure into marbles. It served only as a military fort. This is incorrect. It does not only serve as a military fort. First two are right. It was built by Akbar only, and Shah Jahan did add later on many structures to it, in marble especially. And fourth statement, it contains Diwan-e-Aam and Diwan-e-Khas. Yes, that is also correct. So only 3 statement is wrong, and 1 to 4 will be your answer. Coming to the next question, with respect to Taj Mahal, the wonder of the world. First statement, it was built as a mausoleum for Mumtaz Mahal. It represents the peak of Mughal architectural achievement. It uses Charbagh garden layout. The main tomb is located at the center of the garden. So you have to tell, I hope you all know about the Taj Mahal, its layout, who built, for whom. So I think this question you should all be knowing very well. Well, its answer is 1, 2 and 3. The fourth statement, that main tomb is located at the center of garden. No, ऐसा नहीं है, because at the back is Taj Mahal and in the front we will see the four gardens. Right. Next, question 13 with respect to Fatehpur Sikri only. Now, first is it was built by Akbar as a new capital. It was built by Akbar, but not as a new capital. It shows a fusion of Hindu and Islamic elements of architecture. Right. This is third. It was abandoned mainly due to water scarcity. It served as a Mughal capital through Akbar's reign. So Mughal, it was not a Mughal capital. So answer here will be yes, water scarcity was one of the issue. Fusion of Hindu and the Islamic elements was there, and it was built by Akbar as a new capital, but it never became a capital. So answer here will be 1, 2 and 3. Coming to the next question with reference to Mughal tomb architecture, consider the following statements. So इनके बारे में देखते हैं. Overall tombs के बारे में during the Mughal time we will see tombs were especially usually built on high plank. Yes, they are built on a raised platform. Central dome was dominant feature. That is also correct. Minarets were absent in Mughal tomb. No, that's not. Taj Mahal is itself a tomb, but it has minarets. Symmetry was strictly followed. Yes, that is right. So answer will be 1, 2 and 4. Coming to the next question with respect to Jharoka Darshan practice. So what is Jharoka Darshan practice? You please search and write in the comment section. But let's see the statement about this practice. It was introduced by Akbar. It was a daily public appearance of the emperor. It strengthened the sacred kingship concept. Aurangzeb continued the practice. So here your right answer is 1, 2 and 3. Aurangzeb is actually the person who discontinued this practice. Okay, so Aurangzeb is remembered for discontinuing Jharoka Darshan. All the first three are right statements. Answer will be 1, 2 and 3. Coming to the next question, consider the following statement about the Ikta system under the Delhi Sultanate. So some of the aspects of Delhi Sultanate. So Ikta was the hereditary assignment of land revenue to the nobles. No, this is wrong. Muktis were responsible for maintaining troops from the revenue of the Ikta. The Sultan had right to transfer Ikta at will. So here answer is only 2 and 3 because Iktas were not the hereditary assignment of land revenue to the noble. It could change. It is not necessarily hereditary. Fine. So answer will be 2 and 3. Now coming to the next question. With respect to Delhi Sultanate central administration, we will see which office works as what. So Diwan-e-Wizarat, revenue and finance, that is right. Diwan-e-Arz, military affairs, yes. Diwan-e-Insha, judicial administration, this is wrong. Diwan-e-Insha largely deals with religious matters and communication. Diwan-e-Rasalat, judicial is actually a department with judicial administration. So answer will be 1 and 2 only. Now coming to the next question, Alauddin Khilji and his reforms. So first is, he introduced market control to regulate the price. Yes, he did. He introduced 4 markets. He abolished the Ikta system. He maintained a standing army paid in cash. So 1 and 3 are correct. Did he abolish the Ikta system? No, he did not abolish the Ikta system. In fact, you will see Ikta system further formalized in his time period. Now coming to the next question, which of the following official was responsible for military recruitment and discipline during the Delhi Sultanate? So you will see it is Ariz-e-Mamalik, or you call it Ariz-e-Mamalik. Fine. Next, the 20th question with respect to judicial system under Delhi Sultanate. So here you will see again Sultan was the highest court of appeal, right, even in the Delhi Sultanate. Qazi-ul-Quzzat was the chief judicial officer. Islamic law was applied uniformly. So any law cannot be applied uniformly. Fine. So this is never going to be a right statement. So answer will be 1 and 2 only. So Qazi-ul-Quzzat was the chief judicial officer. So answer will be 1 and 2 only. Fine. So that was all in today's series. I hope you liked the questions. Thank you very much.